Hey guys, thank you for joining in. Apologies for the delay. Patrick is a bit busy right now, but I'm sure he's going to join any moment now. In the meantime, figured might as well begin myself and give you maybe a little bit of a MuesliSwap update in the meantime to get this Twitter space going. Yeah, so as you guys probably know, we are currently developing the automated market maker and working on some of the wrap tokens. And I'm happy to inform you that by the end of this week, we do expect one pretty decent testnet launch. That's something I could tell you right now. So as usual, can't really give specific dates because these things can always change if anything is found during the development. But I'm happy to inform you about this launch that we're expecting to have by the end of this week on our testnet. So that's something from my side. And the NFT maker team should be joining any moment. So then we'll change the focus to them. All right. Sorry for the delay once more, guys. If any of you actually have any MuesliSwap questions in the meantime, feel free to send a request and you can ask me and I'll try my best to answer. Oh, one more thing. The Dracards Fire team have started their countdown today. They are developing their metaverse, if you're not familiar with it, and it looks pretty cool. So they are half card game, half metaverse project, and it looks really cool. And this Friday, let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this Friday they will be dropping the MuesliSwap Village. So check it out. I've seen the teaser. It looks pretty cool, I have to say. And welcome, Patrick. All right, add as speaker. Cool. Hey, Patrick.
Much for being delayed. I had a wonderful meeting, but it took a lot longer than I expected. So, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more? First of all, don't worry about it. These things happen. But can you tell us a bit more about the meeting? I mean, you've had us waiting, so the least you could hear is what the meeting was about.
Yeah.
If you could tease it a bit.
Of course. Yeah, it was actually with Wolfram Alpha, and yeah, we have some amazing stuff planned. Science and NFTs and more I can't really talk about, but it's gonna be quite cool. I'm very excited.
All right, science. That sounds good. Science is almost always cool. Cool. Thank you for your time, Patrick. Super happy to have you here on our Project Spotlight number 3. I tried to give it a bit of a mix. So as our first guest was World Mobile with a pretty unique project, then Giro with their wallet. I figured it's just as natural to have a bit of an NFT approach to the third spotlight, just so we don't keep up with the similar projects week in, week out. So glad to have you. Super cool. Could you tell us a bit about yourself before we begin?
Sure, yeah. Thank you so much for having me, first of all. It's really an honor and great to finally speak to you. So my name is Patrick. I'm 24 years old now. I studied computer science. I was in the Cardano space quite early. Back in 2017 was the very first time when I encountered Cardano and really got interested. And then, shortly after the ITN, I launched my own stake pool. And then afterwards, I launched NFT Maker in April last year. And then it just exploded, and now I'm doing nothing else except NFT Maker and launching NFTs and talking to amazing projects and trying to get them onto Cardano. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. Thank you. So you guys celebrated your first birthday. That's pretty cool. Not very common in our space where everything pretty much boomed after the Alonso hard fork. So it's pretty cool to have you sort of as an OG project that is over 1 year old. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. It was really interesting. I didn't really plan for NFT Maker to become what it has become, but I started, during writing my bachelor thesis, I actually wrote it also about Cardano and about like a metaverse project before it was cool, by the way. And then I decided to take a week off and just built NFT Maker together with Fahim, the co-founder, who's the designer behind NFT Maker. And we made it, and then it exploded on the very first day, and I just spent the whole night bug fixing and so on. And and since then, it just formed into a company and a much bigger thing.
Amazing. That's very, very cool. Guys, just a quick FYI, we do have a Q&A at the very end. So I see I already got a couple of requests to speak. First of all, thank you. But we're going to do them at the end. So I'm not ignoring you. I see your request. Just wait until the end and you'll definitely have a chance to speak. Patrick obviously agreed to do a Q&A with you guys. Nice. Okay. Then thank you for the intro by yourself. Could you tell us then a bit about NFT Maker? Let's do a bit more like the beginnings, and then we'll jump into what you actually do in more detail, if that's fine with you.
Yeah, so NFT Maker is essentially a company that tries to make NFTs accessible to everyone. That's kind of the motto. And we have started by building an NFT minting tool, which at the beginning, back a year ago, was only made for one NFT at a time, so single NFTs only. And it was the very first minting tool with such a GUI on Cardano. And after that, we expanded. We built another tool called NFT Maker Pro. That's what people use at the moment, and that's now responsible for over 1 million NFTs on the chain. So we kind of made minting large collections accessible. And around this whole ecosystem of NFT Maker Pro, we are building a lot of like smaller products. So we do a lot of like white label stuff, agency stuff. And we're building a payment gateway where we integrate all the wallets and fiat payment and so on. So it's really like an NFT ecosystem in a way.
Yeah, I just saw your comment last night, or what was it, 2 days ago, doesn't really matter. Husky feels very passionately about NFTs on Cardano should be paid in ADA, and I see that you have no problem whatsoever with fiat. I guess you're both right to a certain extent. It's just there's this level of volatility, and companies do need to survive, as we've seen with Flicto, with this situation that they were in or are in. So it's pretty cool that you're setting up this fiat payment. But how are you executing it?
Yeah, so fiat payment is a very tricky topic actually, because you have to have a banking license whenever you try to convert fiat to crypto. So we have to be very careful there. Of course, we don't have a banking license, and we don't really can do that alone. So we have partnered with a company. It's called Vert.io, and they're basically a fiat on-ramp. So we are integrating a system of theirs into our payment gateway, and Vert then automatically converts the money that people pay via credit card to USDC, so to a stable coin. And we basically take that information, see, okay, credit card payment went to the artist. Now is the time to mint the NFT. And then we simply mint the NFT and send it out to the buyer. So that's how we are doing it at the moment. In the long term, we want to actually, plan to apply for certain licenses also in Switzerland, where the company is located and so on. But that is a very slow and hard progress.
Alles klar. Yeah, I kind of jumped in 10 questions here. Really didn't do a great job there, because I kind of wanted to keep it a bit generic at the very beginning, and then slowly sliding into a bit deeper topics of NFT makers, because I actually wanted to ask you something. What NFT maker actually isn't. So people can come in with a certain expectation. I did before I did my proper due diligence. Could you tell us in simple words what NFT maker is and what it actually isn't?
Okay, that's actually a very, very good question. So NFT Maker is not an NFT marketplace, at least at the moment not. We have plans to do that. NFT Maker is also not, a freelance NFT minting conglomerate or something like that. So we are not there to help every single project that is minting with NFT Maker directly. But instead, what we are trying to do is we are trying to build a platform that everyone can use without having the need to actually talk to us. So they can just go to the website, and then they can upload files, and they can mint NFTs and sell NFTs and do all the cool stuff without the need for a specific developer. Because if you think about it, the way NFT projects mint or launch at the moment on Cardano is mostly, there's a great team behind it. They create some art, then they go into the scene, then they are looking for a developer that can help them with minting the NFTs, and then they find that person, and that person then helps them, set up the website, set up the minting service, and so on. And then they do the mint, and then he's gone, and he takes a very large percentage, and that's it. So it's like a freelance job. And we are really trying to build a system that you can just use without the need for someone like that. But instead, it's just accessible to everyone. So we want to onboard as many people as possible.
So basically, the moment the artwork is done, you guys basically are the next step, if I'm understanding that correctly.
Yeah, basically, exactly. So we focus at the moment on the initial sale. So the moment the artwork is done, you can come to NFT Maker, you can upload it, and then you can sell it.
Okay, that's very, very cool. That's very, very cool. That really saves a lot of time and a lot of effort to artists, because they can then just focus on the marketing and on the artwork itself and not so much about the whole execution and stuff. That's pretty awesome. May I ask what got you into NFTs? So I get it, you were in Cardano since a while, but if you, like when everything started let's say a year ago, you could have gone in any way, but you chose to go in the NFT direction. How come?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, a year ago, you couldn't really do anything on Cardano besides NFTs. So it was a very obvious next step. I was following Alessandro way before, he released the Space Buds. And I was always watching and seeing, okay, he's doing some NFT tools and so on. What is this guy doing? And then he launched the Space Buds. And of course, it was like a huge success, and it set the standard for many things on our chain. And I thought to myself, yeah, absolutely, Alessandro is amazing. And then, I thought to myself, oh my God, this guy, he's the same age as me. He also comes from southern Germany. He studies the same thing as me. He's in the same semester as me. I need to do something. I need to try out these NFTs. And then I, decided to take a break from my bachelor thesis and just build the tool. And by building the tool, I really got into NFTs, and I really understood, okay, these things are not just JPEGs. They really have potential to be way more.
It's pretty impressive what you do in your age. Honestly, when I was 24, I was nowhere near what you're doing. So really props for that. And why Cardano? What got you into Cardano, and what made you decide to build on Cardano and not on Ethereum, for example?
Yeah, Cardano just always attracted me from, a purely technological standpoint. Like I was very interested in the research that Cardano did, and in the slow and methodical way. As a computer scientist, that's kind of what I like. And then, COVID hit. And at the moment that COVID hit, I was actually in Singapore doing my exchange semester. And I couldn't really do anything there because they had a super hard lockdown very early on, and I wasn't even allowed to leave my room. So all I did was watch Charles' videos every single day. And at the time, he still made videos every single day, and they barely had any views, and he talked about the same things over and over again. But it was really interesting, and it stuck with me. So I got into Cardano and into crypto more because of that. And then at some point, I just decided, because I had to leave Singapore, because they said, okay, everyone has to leave the country. COVID is too hard. I decided to spend all the money that I saved for my trip to Singapore and for traveling around there on ADA, which was probably the best financial decision I've ever made. And then I was just very deep into it, and I decided to build more stuff around it, start a stake pool, and so on.
I think it's safe to say that you made the right decision there.
For sure.
Fun fact for you, if you Google Charles, the little Wikipedia smart search that gives you on the right side, it states that Charles is a YouTuber. So just to pick up on the...
I saw that. I think that's the most hilarious thing.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, cool. Thank you for all this info. I think we can go dive in a bit deeper into NFT Maker at this point. Could you tell us a bit more like where you are right now and what are some things that are coming up short term versus long term? So we touched upon the fiat, that's fine. But your roadmap is pretty extensive. Your white paper is actually quite big and very interesting, if I may add. So if you could just tell us a bit some of the launches we can expect in the coming months or so.
Yeah, so I mean, so we have two parts to NFT Maker in a way. So we have the part where we are trying to actively onboard people. So I'm basically speaking every single day to certain projects that want to launch NFTs on Cardano, be it, you know, film stars or musicians or artists or even, you know, real estate companies and so on. Like there's really a huge interest there, and we are basically talking to them, and then we are helping them to make their own NFTs, and we're helping them sometimes to do white label launches, or we are planning long-term stuff, because most of the really interesting use cases for NFTs are not really for the short term, but they're more long-term thinking. Like, for example, with real estate, there are so many legal hurdles that you have to pass first before you can do anything there, that it's not something we can launch in just a month or so. We have to start slowly and then plan that for a year and then maybe launch something. But, you know, that's only one side. And there are many, many great things coming up on this side. So we have a very special celebrity announcement together with IOG very soon. Hopefully in the next few days, you can expect something there. And then we have many, you know, other launches coming up, which are great. We have a lot of collaborations and so on. But on the other side, we are focused very much on technology, of course, and we are trying to build tools that, as I mentioned earlier, allow people to get into the space without the need for own developers. So we want to take away the complexity from building on Cardano and basically abstract that away. So we have built NFT Maker Pro. That was the second big project, basically after NFT Maker version 1. And NFT Maker Pro keeps evolving because we have this huge API. We have over 39 API endpoints that anyone can use to build their own NFT platforms, basically. And we have seen a few of these emerge. So, for example, NFT Hubs is a great platform that is completely relying on NFT Maker technology. And we have seen great launches which are completely white label, which are using the NFT Maker API. And that's really the idea, just to enable people to build stuff on Cardano without having to interact with the blockchain. And yeah, you know, our next big project is the marketplace. We have been working on that for quite a while, and I think it's going to be amazing. But it also is a lot of work, and we're not focused on doing anything short term. So we are really trying to build something extremely good, and we're trying specifically to make our marketplace accessible for people who have never touched an NFT before. Because all the marketplaces that we see at the moment are either focused on, you know, collectibles and people that are already in the NFT scene, or are focused on things which are completely outside that sphere, like, for example, I don't know, football trading cards or something like that. And we really try to build a marketplace where people can come. They might not even have ADA. They might not even know which blockchain this is on, and they can just start with doing that, with participating in this economy. And that is really the goal with that. But to realize that, we are building a lot of tools, you know, on the side. So, for example, the payment gateway that I mentioned a few times is getting a lot of upgrades at the moment, with fiat payment coming this week. And we have a system to generate paper wallets. We're working on an onboarding wallet in a way. We're working on a game launch pad, which is basically like a prototype at the moment, just to demonstrate the feasibility. We have a game jam coming up. That's like a hackathon, 48 hours for developers to make a game. We have so many things coming up. It's kind of crazy when I think about it. But yeah, that's it. And we are planning a token launch pad, but that's kind of secret, and no one except you here now knows.
Oh damn! Thank you for the secret info. That's very nice. I also found it very interesting that you touched upon real estate, because I found it very interesting because we have Goki with us, and I feel like they understand how hard it is with real estate. That's a lot, Patrick, that you guys are working on. Can I ask how big is your team? Because that what you guys are taking on will require quite a bit of manpower.
Yeah, I think we're at about 25 people at the moment.
Oh, okay. That's bigger than I thought. That's good.
Yeah, it's bigger than most projects in Cardano, and there are a lot of people that are not only doing development, but there are also people for marketing. There are people for sales regarding other projects, and we have so many different areas that we have to touch upon. Also legal stuff and so on, and finances. It's a lot of stuff that you have to cover when you're starting a company, especially in Europe.
Yeah, got it. Got it. You tweeted just the other day looking for some artists for a secret project. Since you're dropping secrets with us, I found the courage to ask if you would be willing to share also what kind of project this is.
Good question as well. I can't share the details, but it has to do with this celebrity drop that we're planning, and there's going to be an announcement very soon. I was actually supposed to have a Twitter space with the celebrity and Charles on Friday, I think, but unfortunately we had to reschedule. So at the moment, I'm not sure when the Twitter space is happening, but hopefully soon.
All right, that sounds pretty exciting. If it's anyone on the level of Snoop Dogg, I think some good days for Ada are coming.
I think
that's exactly what we need.
Yeah, it's very different than Snoop Dogg. I mean, beating Snoop Dogg is very hard. I don't think it's quite on the same level, but it's still a very large celebrity, and it's quite exciting. The one thing I can hint is that it's from Hollywood.
That's a pretty good hint, pretty sexy hint, if I may add. Yeah, that's exactly what we're missing. A bit of press, a bit of more PR for Cardano, and exactly what you touched upon a couple of minutes ago, that one of your goals is to simplify all of these processes. That's also really good for Cardano, because we're kind of known as the more complex ecosystem, as the more complex blockchain. So wherever we could simplify for new people, that's fantastic. That's also what Sean talked about last week with Jiro, that their focus is user first. So I find it really cool that you guys are doing this.
Yeah, and I like Sean a lot, actually, from Geo Wallet. I had a meeting, or not a meeting, I had a lunch with him in LA one time, and it was really great to talk to him. We went to this amazing place where we got really good food, and he just understands usability, and I think that's very much needed in all of crypto, to be honest.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. Speaking of shoutouts, I have to give one to our resident Cardano YouTubers. So every week before Project Spotlight, I try my best to do my due diligence with every project for selfish reasons, just so I don't say something stupid. But here's a shout out to the resident YouTubers. So Big Pay, Pete from Lord Cardano, and Kaizen. Really, you guys are one of many, but I really appreciate what you guys do. I don't know if you will ever hear this, but your videos make these Twitter spaces a lot easier for me. So just a small shout out to our YouTubers. Patrick, CNFT Awards. How's that going? And what are the plans there?
Yeah, so we held the very first CNFT Awards back in, I think it was May. I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, I think it was May. That was like a live streamed event, pre-recorded. We did some quite cool stuff there. So we had a community voting. They could basically vote for their favorite projects, for their favorite NFTs. And then we had some amazing awards, like physical awards made, which we then sent out to the winners. They were made by a person who makes what's it called in English? Like, stuff for television normally. So he made some really cool stuff, and it all had a very interesting shape. And I quite enjoyed it. I'm very sad that I don't have one at home, to be honest. And then we hired an orchestra for that, which is still blowing my mind. Hiring an orchestra for Cardano NFTs. We have the soundtrack for that on Spotify, by the way, if you're interested. And now, NFTs are are 1 year old. So the CNFT Awards happened right around the first birthday of the NFTs on Cardano. And we are planning to have the second CNFT Awards in exactly 1 year for the second birthday. And there we want to really have a physical meetup and a physical show, and have live hosts, have live guests, and so on. That's kind of the plan.
Awesome. I'm actually laughing while you're saying certain things. I just don't want to interrupt you, so don't think that you're just laughing all by yourself. So I'm with you.
That's
I'm
okay.
also laughing. I'm just like muted because I don't want to be interrupting what you're saying. So sorry, I kind of lost track slightly there. When do you aim to have the second awards?
We aim to have them around the second birthday of NFTs on Cardano. So, May 2023.
Got it. Cool. Touchy topic, but I've decided that I'm going to bring it up every single time since what happened with Flicto. Finances. How does NFT Maker get by? I've done some research, I've seen some stuff, but if you could give us a bit more detail. As far as I understand, there was Project Catalyst involved, but also you've done your unsigned algorithms NFTs. But yeah, feel free to tell us a bit more in a bit more detail.
Sure. Yeah. I'm extremely proud that NFT Maker is basically self-funded since day one for the first year, slightly over the first year actually. So we scaled up from 0 people to over 25 people in a little bit over a year, without any funding at the beginning. So of course, yeah, we did get Project Catalyst at some point, but we haven't really seen all the Project Catalyst money yet, because there's a process involved where you have to report on a monthly basis, and we kind of tend to miss the reports, and it's only like we're on it, but it's also only $40,000, which sounds crazy if I say it like that, only $40,000, but the reality is $40,000 is not a lot of money when you're trying to build a company like this. So we have funded ourselves mostly through just NFT projects using our tool. So that's quite cool in my opinion. The usual rate that we charge per NFT, if people just come to us and launch their NFT project on Cardano, is 2 ADA per NFT. So if you launch 10,000 NFTs, we charge $20,000, 20,000 ADA, which is a good rate, but it's way below what freelance NFT, developers are charging. They usually charge around 20 or 25% of the whole project. And to me, there's always this interesting topic. I mentioned this in a YouTube video recently. If I personally, as Patrick, wanted to become as rich as possible, I would not have founded NFT Maker, because for me it would be a lot easier to just help NFT projects launch, take 20% off of that, and then become a multi-millionaire by the age of 24, and that's pretty much it. And probably also not have the stress that I'm currently having with all the different seaplane topics and so on. But I consciously decided against that. I consciously decided to build something which is scalable, which makes sense in the broader term, to make it more accessible for people who don't have access to developers, don't have access to any capital, and so on. And then charge a lower rate and really invest everything that we made into NFT Maker, just to hire people, to try to reach the real world, to try to build products in the real world. And that is very difficult, and it's not easy. And there are also legal topics. We have paid over $150,000 over the last year just for lawyers. Not because we got sued or anything, but because there are so many uncertainties in different states, in different countries, and so on, that you really have to cover your bases, and you have to make sure that you're following the rules. So yeah, it's a very expensive business. We spent probably around $200,000 or so a month on costs. And luckily, we are able to pay all of that with the minting fees that we are charging. But recently, we also decided, okay, we want to scale up. We want to build something really sustainable. So we launched our token, the NMKR token, which is also listed on MuesliSwap, of course. And we're using that, or we used that to raise some funds. And we made how much did we make? Around $2.5 million or so, or a little bit more, maybe $3 million. I'm not quite sure about the correct numbers at the moment because the public sale is still ongoing through that token launch. And yeah, that's pretty much how we're funding it.
Cool. Appreciate the transparency, Patrick. Yeah, so the NFT Maker page has shared, I think, above in the Twitter space. Okay, sorry, that's about the awards. I thought it's about the token sale. Never mind. Yeah, here's a fun fact for you, Patrick. Maybe you saw, it was actually on the day when you listed the NFT Maker token on MuesliSwap. That was also the day when the TVL from MuesliSwap went drastically up. And before we looked into it, we were like, did Patrick just add like 90 million worth of NFT Maker tokens on MuesliSwap? That was a very random coincidence.
Yeah, that I kind of I placed a sell order for way too much money and accidentally. That wasn't really my intention, but I changed it shortly after.
Patrick crashed DeFi Llama. No, it's really good to hear that you guys have like such honest and good intentions. I just hope that this stays, because I feel like a lot of people start with intentions just like yours and just over time realize it simply isn't sustainable. But I'm, fingers crossed that for you guys that lasts as long as possible and people get to use your platform in a way that works for them and it's cheap for them, but also you guys continue funding your project because, as you say, it's a platform for so many people. Not everybody has the developer understanding, so it's really cool what you guys do for the average Joe, so to speak. Yeah, so you also touched upon the real world. I gotta ask, how was presenting in Davos? Quite curious about that, because Davos is a pretty particular place today. They came out with some very interesting quotes and their opinions on how the average people should live. Very easy from their point of view. But I'm curious what it was like for you being surrounded by all these people and presenting Cardano and yeah.
Yeah, so for the people that don't know, basically the Cardano Foundation is very active in Switzerland, and they are one of the main sponsors for a blockchain event in Switzerland, or blockchain initiative, should I say. It's called House of Blockchain, I think. And they sponsored that, and that is also that kicked off at a side event in Davos, a side event to the World Economic Forum, and they were there. So Frederick Grigard, the CEO of the Cardano Foundation, was there. DT, the marketing PR guy from the Cardano Foundation, was there, and they also invited me just to speak a little bit about NFTs and the Swiss scene, and they connected us with an amazing artist out of Switzerland who is launching NFTs on Cardano as well. And also combined with physical pieces. And then I got the chance to travel there and speak in front of these amazing people. Our event was actually started by the finance minister of Switzerland, which was a huge honor. And it had some very prestigious guests. There was like one of the executive managers of FTX there, and so many interesting people. But
did you tell him to list? Did you tell him to list ADA?
I did tell him to list ADA. I also told him to list NMKR. but he was very positive actually. But without ADA being listed on FTX, I don't think any Cardano native token is going to be listed anytime soon. But we'll see. But yeah, it was really interesting being there. And I think the one thing that people don't realize about Davos is that there is, of course, the World Economic Forum, but that's a very separate event from most of the stuff that's happening there. So there's the World Economic Forum in like this big building, and it's super exclusive, and the German chancellor is there, and all the important people go there, and that's where you hear the weird quotes. But then the whole city of Davos is basically rented out to big companies. Like there are all these skiing shops and tea shops and stuff like that, right? Because Davos is normally a skiing city. And they all clear out and they rent their shop for the week to, for example, Facebook or Microsoft or Tezos. And and that's what happens. So you can walk around the whole city and you will see basically every cryptocurrency in existence because they all are there. Like Filecoin was in a church. That was the weirdest thing. They literally rented a church The Cardano Foundation was there. Polkadot had a very big house. There was a house of blockchain. There was a house of crypto. There was a house of USDC. Tezos was there. So many crypto people were actually there. All the exchanges as well. So it was quite interesting. And we didn't really have any contact with the actual World Economic Forum. We were just in this town and at these like side events of the whole event. And these side events are not that bad, I would say, because the crypto people are, of course, there to just convince the regular banker and the regular managers and so on that crypto is a good thing. They basically lobby for crypto. But of course, it's a super weird and absurd world. I mean, this little town of Davos just being filled with all these, like literally every single major company is there, every single major project, and all these people in suits. It's really strange.
But it must have been a great feeling that you were there representing Cardano to a certain extent and representing Cardano NFTs specifically. So that's really sort of how can I put it? Yeah, it must have been a really good feeling, and you should be really proud of yourself because not many people will get to experience this. So props.
Yeah, thank you. And I am proud because Cardano is really doing the right things. And I'm very proud of the Cardano Foundation. They don't have the best standing, understandable, of course. Especially the earlier days of the Cardano Foundation were quite strange. But I feel like they got new leadership, I think 1.5 years ago or so. And since then, the Cardano Foundation has really changed a lot, and they are doing the right things at the moment. They're really out there representing the Cardano community in the real world, and that's what they should be doing. And they're trying their best, to talk to legislators, to the big companies, to the banks, and so on, and build these bridges. And that's kind of what we need, in my opinion.
Very cool. Very, very cool, Patrick. Yeah, so kind of staying with Davos and this slight weirdness from them. I did my research on NFT Maker, and it came across 2 points which I found very, very interesting that you guys are planning on developing. Not trying to imply any centralized dictator intents from your side. So I found this score system that you guys are planning, which will be sort of a way to stop money laundering on the NFT Maker platform. Could you tell us a bit more about it? Like, how will the execution work? Will it be sort of a decentralized process, or if you could just tell us a bit about it?
Yeah. So the biggest problem that we see in the NFT space at the moment is wash trading, one. And also just fake art, stolen art, taken from other blockchains, sometimes taken even just from random Twitter accounts and then being put on OpenSea. And that's really what we have to stop, because the artist community at the moment, they hate NFTs. They are very split. Some of them love NFTs, the ones that make a lot of money with NFTs, honestly. And then, the other part hates NFTs because they see, okay, my art piece got stolen from Twitter and put on OpenSea and someone sold it for 2 ETH. Of course they're angry. So we need to find solutions towards that. And I think we can find solutions towards that in a very decentralized way. So what we will be introducing is basically 2 mechanisms to combat this. One of them has to do with digital identity. So the idea is really, if you have a wallet, you can connect your digital identity to that wallet, and you can connect, for example, your social accounts, like your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your Instagram account, and so on. And if you're an artist, there's a very high chance that people trust your social accounts. That's how NFT collections at the moment work. If an artist on Twitter says, okay, this is my new NFT collections, you can be quite sure that this is really their new NFT collections. And the more channels they use to promote this collection, the more trustworthy it becomes, right? So the idea would be to really connect the social accounts to that wallet in a pretty private way, so that you can only, the artist can choose if they want to publish this information or not. But it's not stored on the blockchain; it's stored in the wallet, and you only store the hash for that in the blockchain, basically. And then, we connect these things, and then when someone releases an NFT, you can see, okay, it was released by this wallet. And this wallet is connected to all these social accounts. And you can be quite sure that this is really the artist. And the next step towards that would be, also introducing a KYC so that you can say, okay, this person is actually a human being, not just a random bot. Maybe you can even, the artist can even decide to release their name or not, depending on if they want that. It's really about keeping the data about someone in their hands, but still giving them the option to verify themselves. So that is one of the things we want to introduce. And the second one has to do with NMaker, so with the NMaker token. And we have a system there to also do this sort of verification process. So we want to give the community the option to, how do I explain this the best way? To punish bad behavior and to reward good behavior. So let's say, for example, you're someone who
sorry, you mean the bounty hunters, right? Came across the bounty hunters on your page.
Yeah, basically the bounty hunters. Yeah, the bounty hunter would be like a job description in a way. But the idea is, someone releases a fake NFT, something bad, something stolen, and then you, as just a regular user of NFT Maker, you can see this and you find out, oh, this is fake. I don't like this behavior. You can report this person, and then the community can vote whether or not this person has done something correctly or not, and either punish them by taking away some of their staked NMaker tokens, or by actually taking away staked NMaker tokens from the person who falsely reported this stolen art. So we want to kind of incentivize staking NMaker tokens, and by staking NMaker tokens, you increase your trust score in a way. So you really have stake. It's kind of the same system as with stake pools. You have stake in your project, in your NFTs, and then if you do something bad, other people can take away your stake. If you do something good, you will be rewarded and will receive more stake. So there's a real use case for the NMaker token. And in the ideal world, I think this is extremely powerful, not only for NFTs, but in general. Because if we think about it, all these existing platforms, like for example, Airbnb or Uber or I don't know, eBay or so, they all are centralized monopoles over a trust score. So on Airbnb, you have to have good rating so that your flat gets rented or that you can rent other people's flats. And we kind of have to take away this trust score mechanism from Airbnb, and we have to decentralize it. And that's the approach that we're taking. And the NFTs are the first entry point towards that. I hope that wasn't too confusing.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's quite clear. Very interesting approach. I don't think I've heard about anything similar to that. And I'm just imagining, somebody dropping some art and a bunch of people immediately like doing reverse image search, trying to find like similar art or identical art, just so they could be the first ones to report if by any chance if it's stolen. And then let's say somebody reports some collection to be stolen. You still have someone manually reviewing all of these reports, correct?
Yeah, so someone reports stolen art. So they basically report a wallet, and then the community goes over this report, and they can vote if this report was correct or if this report was not correct. And if they vote, they get rewards for participating, basically. So we incentivize this voting process, and we incentivize people actually reporting stuff by also giving them tokens. So it's all about the game theory in a way behind that. And we, as NFT Maker, we don't want to be in charge of the content that is stored on or shown on our marketplace. Like, that's not our job. We shouldn't be that central authority. But instead, we want to give away this power into the hands of the people and really have them self-regulate themselves.
Very interesting. Curious if people find some loopholes and try to take advantage of it, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, it's a very difficult system. There are so many things that can go wrong. You have to think about every scenario very carefully, and it will take a while until it's perfect. But you have to try.
Yeah. Yeah, that's clear. Guys, we're coming close to the Q&A. Just a quick FYI, you can already start sending the requests. I see everybody so far that has sent through, but we're getting close. Don't worry. Cool. Pretty random question, Patrick. Which one would you say was kind of your best day so far at NFT Maker? Was it like some success, or was it like the first day you launched, or yeah, maybe even like Davos last week, or which one would you say was like, if you could like pinpoint one day at your time during NFT Maker, which one would it be?
Oh, there are so many, there's so many successes, so many failures. It's just been a roller coaster all along. Yeah, I think, the biggest success for me in this whole journey is actually meeting these amazing people that I was able to meet. There are so many great artists that I've spoken to. There are so many amazing, talented developers that I've spoken to. There are amazing business people that I've spoken to. Just recently, I think 2 weeks ago, I had a 2.5-hour call with Stephen Wolfram himself. And it was like a Joe Rogan podcast or something like that, because he just kept telling me all this crazy, cool stuff. And it's like, these are the moments that I live for. Just experiencing all of these crazy ideas from everyone at kind of the same time, because there are so many people just coming to me and wanting to do NFTs, and that's really an honor and the best thing so far.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Actually, final question from my side before we get into the Q&A. Not financial advice, and one more time I have to repeat: Project Spotlight is not financial advice, and this is not a way for MuesliSwap to pump any project. We're merely giving a spotlight to certain projects that are building on Cardano. So please do not take any of the Twitter Spaces as any recommendation from our side to purchase the NFT Maker token or any other token that gets a chance to speak here. We're just giving a chance for cool people to talk about their projects, basically. Speaking of which, Patrick, so not financial advice. How would you recommend to someone that is just getting into the NFT world how to go about either building their own project or simply gaining the knowledge to successfully trade in NFTs? So those are two kind of separate things. So you don't have to answer both of them. You can pick one. I don't really care too much. But just some tips for beginners, if you could give us.
Sure, and some financial advice here by NMKR. No, I'm just kidding. don't take it seriously. But yeah. I'm all about making it more accessible for artists. So that's what I'm gonna pick. Releasing art as NFTs on Cardano is not super easy at the moment. You have to learn a lot of things. You have to learn about the marketplaces. You have to learn about metadata. You have to learn about rarity in some cases. You have to learn about Discord servers and community management, all this kind of stuff. And it's quite difficult. So we are taking away the technological complexity. So on NFT Maker, it should be quite easy for you to launch that. We actually have a video up. It's like 15 minutes long, and it explains very clearly how you can launch an NFT collection in just 15 minutes, which is pretty cool in my opinion. But everything around that is quite difficult. So what I would recommend is that you really take your time, that you really think about, okay, what is this NFT collection that I'm bringing to the world, giving people? Like, what is the benefit? It's not necessarily about utility. Utility is great, but there must be a reason for it to exist. Is it art? Is it community? Is it utility? Is it something else? Just focus on your product basically, and then everything else will fall into place. But of course, also learn from the good projects in the space. We have so many amazing projects like the Clay Nation and so on, which are doing community management on a whole different level. So just go to their Discords, see what they do, see how they release things, see how they manage crises. I think crisis management is probably an important one. And then, then you'll be fine.
Thank you, Patrick. Awesome. Appreciate you and appreciate the time you put into all of this. If it's okay with you, I'm going to open up the floor now for some questions.
Sure.
Cool. We have some requests. So basically, since the very beginning, I'm going to give first chance to Goki. Welcome, Goki. I'm adding you as a speaker. You're with us. And you're muted.
Hello.
Are you with us, Goki? You're currently speaker and you're muted.
Yeah, hey, sorry about that. I had a brief cell problem, I think. But hey, thank you guys so much for putting this together, man. It's been very, very informative. I'm a big fan of Muesli and NFT Maker. We like to work with things that are relatively simple and work well. And in that spirit, I wanted to ask Patrick, what are kind of the plans, if any, for kind of the OG NFT Maker V1? I used it very early on, late April or May maybe, and created a simple NFT. And I went back and used it in March of this year, or I went back to try and use it to mint a property deed NFT, and I couldn't find V1 anywhere, which I really appreciated, like for just a super simple interface if you want to create a one-of-one NFT, which is a lot of what we're working with. So I wasn't able to find it in the current UI of the NFT Maker Pro website, but I did find a link to it in a link tree, I think, in your Twitter. So I was really super excited to be able to go back and use that old platform. So I'm just curious to know, are you guys going to keep that around, or are you going to keep offering that as just a quick, easy tool for your users? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for your question, and I'm glad you used version 1. Not that many people have, actually. So version 1 is still online. You can actually find it in the NFT Maker Pro UI, not when you're logged in, but on the landing page of NFT Maker Pro. There's in the corner right top, there's a button to version 1. But in general, what we are planning to do is we are planning to release a new tool for NFT minting for solo NFTs, which is a lot more easy to use, of course, than NFT Maker Pro. We actually have that tool finished, and it's part of our marketplace. But the marketplace, as you're probably aware, is quite delayed. So at the moment, I'm kind of contemplating just releasing parts of the marketplace. Like, for example, this minting tool, because it's really good. It's I don't want to be overconfident here, but it's like this one of the best minting tools on any blockchain. We tried all of them, and they all kind of lag things, and we have a really good minting tool for minting small collections. We want to release that. NFT Maker version 1, I want to make open source at some point, because it actually isn't for some reason, but I just didn't have the time to make it open source yet. But that will come, of course. And besides that, I guess that's pretty much it for our plans regarding that.
Well, that's great. Thanks. I'm glad to see it's still going to be easily accessible and probably even better. So keep up the good work, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Koki. Patrick, you're quite popular. I don't think I've ever had this many requests at the same time. So I'm just going to try and give everybody a chance. Cardania Merck, you are up next. Oh, sorry, not co-host, but speaker. Right? You should be with us, or you're gone.
Thank you for having me. So my question for Patrick is, when you were mentioning the voting mechanism for getting fake NFTs or stolen art NFTs taken down, what would stop a malicious party from buying a bunch of NFT maker tokens and then spreading it out to like multiple people or multiple, allies that they have, and voting against the vote that's against their fake NFT? what would stop them from doing that? Or do you have like a?
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew it. That someone on this call is gonna find a way already.
No, it's a very good question. I mean, that's one thing that we are thinking about a lot, and it's basically the same issue as with Catalyst, right? If too many people have power over voting in Catalyst, they can just vote for their own proposals and earn a lot of money through that. So, our goal with the NMKR token is to spread it to as many people as possible. That's number one. Like, we need to make sure that it's really spread to as many people as possible, and that's why we are giving it away mostly for participating in the ecosystem. So every single person who has minted an NFT through NFT maker, like not minted, but bought an NFT which was minted through NFT maker, will receive some tokens in an airdrop. And everyone minting through NFT Maker Pro will receive tokens. Everyone trading on NFT Maker, so on the marketplace, will receive tokens, and so on. So we are spreading it a lot. And then in the second step, what we will be doing as well is we will, and that's a long-term plan, we will integrate this DIT mechanism that we are planning to do into the voting process as well. So we want to go the route of, okay, you have to have tokens, but you also have to have a KYC process or something like that tells us, okay, this is a real person. And it's not about exposing that person's identity, but it's about making sure that this person is actually alive and actually a human being. So we're not interested in any information or so, and we don't have access to that, but we want to know, okay, is this person voting an individual? And then we can make sure that there are no issues there, and there are not just a few people bonding together to basically vote for certain projects.
Definitely happy to see that you ended up thinking that component over ahead of time. It's always good to have stuff like that, contingency plans in place, and wow, you definitely did a good job thinking of everything. There is another thing I want to tell you about as well, especially when it comes to like fake NFTs. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but there's this platform, I think they just ended up releasing recently on Cardano. They use AI to detect fake NFTs. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like let's see. I think they're called.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
I think they're called Argus. I think I'm pretty sure. There's stuff still looks a little bit bare bones, but looks pretty robust.
Yeah, I agree. I actually like that a lot, and I haven't really we haven't really implemented anything there yet, but we will in the long term, because that it just makes sense. But it's a difficult problem to solve. It's you have to consider so many different variables. Like, of course, it's quite easy for them to check the Cardano blockchain if there are any of these NFTs already minted, but then you have to go cross-chain. You have the data for all the cross-chain stuff. Then you have to, in theory, at least scroll through all of Twitter, all of Instagram, all of Pinterest, and so on. So there's a lot of data that you have to analyze, and it's not a short-term great solution in my mind. But long-term, it will definitely be very wonderful, and we will integrate it. And maybe we won't make it, like a verified check mark created by AI, but like something which indicates that the AI says, okay, this might be shady or this might be okay, so that people have more different markers that they can use to decide for themselves. It's really about giving the power to the people in the end. That's kind of what crypto is about, right?
Definitely. And a system like that is going to take a long time to implement. Absolutely. Probably a year or even years.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you
Right?
ended up.
Did that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, and I'll keep listening. Have a good one.
Thank you for being here. And Cardania is a great project.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. You too, man. Bye-bye. All right. Next up, Wolves of Rome. You are now speaker.
Hello. There's always this down period between adding people to the space and then them
Every
actually
single
being able
time.
to speak. Yeah,
They
yeah,
actually
it's kind of
disappear
weird.
for a moment, and then they're muted. They're not aware that they're muted. There's always a bit of a dance. But Wolves, we have you with us, and you're currently on mute.
Hey everyone. Hey Patrick. Nice to see you again. A long time. I just wanted to say, love what you're doing. I have a few small questions about ease of use. I know that this has been following your tweets recently. User experience and simplifying and decomplexifying everything has been a huge priority for you guys. Um, is there any kind of like information you can let us know around what's coming next? I might have missed the beginning of the space, but I'm really keen to hear what the plans are for creating a welcoming system. You guys already have a very intuitive platform that is easy to use, especially the payment gate is awesome. I'm interested to know what's next to make that even, to constantly reiterate and improve that user experience that you guys are championing in the space. And I'm keen to see where you're leading it. So any kind of plans on your side to take that whole user experience and simple approach further to make it even more welcoming for people outside of blockchain, so that they aren't scared of this big, scary, complicated thing that keeps a lot of people away?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for that question. Very good. And we, just for your information, we actually spoke earlier today. So that's how the joke of long time no see comes into play here. So we are working on a few different improvements on the payment gateway in the short term, especially. I think I talked a lot about the long term earlier, but for the short term, we are currently working with fiat payment integration. Actually, yesterday I bought my very first NFT using fiat, which was amazing. And today I bought another one, which was also amazing. And I'm just extremely happy that it works the way I want it to work. So we will be releasing that this week. I'm super excited about that. And then, we have some more minor updates for the payment gateway. So we will be displaying the sale conditions, like, for example, whitelist stuff and so on in the payment gateway itself. Dynamically based on the sale conditions currently applied to the project. And we will also allow payment with multiple different tokens. So we already have done a sale actually with a token other than ADA. That was for the latest Cardano drop. But that was through our pay-in address. So basically, people just send the token to the pay-in address and then they receive the NFT. But of course, we also want to allow this through the payment gateway, because the payment gateway is the future. That's kind of what is really usable and what we're iterating upon. Another big improvement that we're working on and that will go live tomorrow as well is we will be putting a queuing system in front of the payment gateway. So, people didn't have the very best experience with minting through the payment gateway recently. And of course, we're working very hard to solve that. And we actually had a few major improvements. So we've done a few load tests recently, and we reserved I think 30,000 NFTs in less than a minute yesterday. And it's really going extremely well. I'm very confident that we wouldn't run into problems like we had a few weeks ago today anymore. But to further increase that, we will basically rate limit the amount of people accessing the payment gateway at the same time. So we are putting a queue in front of the payment gateway, and let's say, for example, 1,000 people can use it at the same time or get into it per minute, and the rest will have to wait in the queue. But because we have a very large throughput in terms of NFT reservations and so on, most people won't ever see the queuing system. Basically, they will only ever see the queuing system if there's a really huge drop. Like, let's say Snoop Dogg decides to drop 100,000 NFTs, then of course there will be a queue.
All right, Wolves, does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks, man. Really looking forward to that fiat payment gateway as well. I'm excited for what that'll do for accessibility. And yeah, thanks for taking my question.
Love your accent, by the way. Love it. Cool. Thank you, Wolves. Next up is Ghost Chain NFT Club. Okay, we have an NFT project here. You're on mute.
Hi, this is eBay Casey from Ghost Chain, the club. My question is for Patrick. By the way, I'm a huge fan of MuesliSwap and obviously an NFT maker. My question,
Appreciate it.
yeah, for sure. My question is in two folds to Patrick. The first question is regarding because I know you guys recently did your NFT maker token launch. And you use some, I guess, like centralized exchanges like LCX. My question is like, how difficult or not difficult has it been to work with those exchanges, to get your token listed on those places? Because I think you guys are one of the few that have actually, explored, going that route, when it comes to raising funds or just like launching the token, outside typical like DEX. That's my first question. And the second question is when it comes to the implementation of the fiat like on-ramp, is that something that will be available to like, be for people to be able to like implement it on their own personal website? Or is this something that's just going to be on the NFT market, NFT maker marketplace, kind of like a Shopify type experience where everything is just, available there for them?
Yeah, thank you for these questions. So I'll start with the second one first. So, the way we are building NFT Maker is that a lot of the stuff is white labelable. So you can build your own marketplaces with minimal technical knowledge. You don't have to know how the Cardano blockchain works and so on. And you can just use it on different levels of skill. So one of them is through the API, of course. The API is our main tool. So people can really use that to build a website that uses NFT Maker, and no one will ever know that it's using NFT Maker. And the second one is through our payment gateway. And the payment gateway is basically just a link that you can use to very easily integrate it into your own website. So you have a button there, want to sell your NFTs through the payment gateway, and you just say, okay, if you click on this button, you come to the payment gateway, and then the checkout process is on there, like a PayPal checkout process in a way for NFTs. And we are integrating the fiat payment solution into the payment gateway. So unfortunately, it's not super easy to integrate it into the API. It's not super easy to white label it. But it will be usable for any project through the payment gateway. So if you want to sell your NFTs on the initial market, so for the mint, you can do that quite easily. You just have to, say that you want to accept fiat, and then you integrate the payment gateway, and that's it. And long term, what we also will be doing, or what we are actually already doing, it's just not live yet, is we are integrating smart contracts into the payment gateway and into the API. So we are integrating auctions, and we're integrating direct sales, and we're integrating hopefully a lot of other things in the future. And the idea there is also that regular people without any knowledge in Haskell or anything, can use the payment gateway to offer their own marketplaces on their own website, in a way at least. And there, of course, will also be fiat payments. So that is kind of the route that we're taking. Right. The first question I forgot. Sorry. So the first question. So working with an exchange is actually a very hard and tedious process, I have to admit. MuesliSwap on the other side was very easy. We just messaged them on Twitter, and then we listed the token, and they were even active before we were, by removing some of the fake NMKR tokens listed on MuesliSwap. But working with a centralized exchange, especially when issuing a token, is extremely hard. And the reason why we chose to go this route is because we wanted to have a full clarity, like a legal clarity of what we're doing. So, officially the token is issued by LCX under our name in for us basically, but they are taking the legal risks. And we had to go to two different lawyers, one of them in Switzerland, one of them in Liechtenstein, where LCX is located. We had to get assessments made by them that our token is actually a utility token and not a security. We had to do so much stuff. We had to pay a lot of money as well, of course, to exchange. And we helped them integrate Cardano first, and then we helped them integrate Cardano native tokens. So there's a lot of work there to be done, to be honest. And I think the token launch was interesting because, of course, it was not the most accessible. As a US citizen, you simply couldn't participate. You had to do KYC and so on. But it was at least regulatory compliant. And after the token is once issued, we are basically able to do a lot more stuff way more freely. So now, the token is already issued. We have it in our wallet. We can sell it directly without necessarily having to do KYC and so on. So it's like, it's just a legal topic, basically, why we chose that route. But we're ourselves not 100% happy with how it went down. So we are actually working on a token launchpad to launch tokens on Cardano without all that hassle, because honestly, there's not much competition at the moment in the space regarding token launchpads. There are barely any token launchpads, and most of them are launching tokens, but they're actually built on other chains like OccamFi or so.
Right. Yeah. I see a lot of those launching on Ethereum and saying they're gonna move it over to Cardano. If you guys don't mind, I'll just like a quick follow up on some of the points Patrick raised. Also, when it comes to integrating with, for example, like CoinGecko, how easy is that? Because again, I don't see a lot of Cardano projects being featured on those places. I think that's something that's going to help us with adoption, for more people to get to see us. If, for example, if NFT NMKR token is trending on CoinGecko, I don't see a lot of projects listing their tokens in those places. So is this like a technical issue that places like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko cannot? They're finding it hard because of maybe Haskell or Plutus. They're very hard to integrate with their platform, or is it just this same BS we keep saying, just Max is just blacklisting Cardano and just ignoring us like we don't exist? Is it a technical issue, or is it just Maxis being a-holes?
Yeah, that's also a good question. So I would say it's not maximalism. I would say, in some cases it might be, but not in most cases. On CoinGecko, so they always have the problem of figuring out what the actual data sources for the tokens are. Like on all the other chains, it's quite easy. You have your what's it called? Uniswap, exactly, Uniswap, and you can just follow Uniswap to figure out all the different tokens that are currently issued on Ethereum, and then on BSC and all the other chains, there are clones of Uniswap, and that's pretty much it, right? So they're all written in the exact same language, they're all looking the exact same way, and they have all existed for quite a while now. And on Cardano, until recently, there were simply no DEXs at all. I think MuesliSwap was the first one, then Sunday and MinSwap, and now Wing Riders and so on. And the tools to track these new DEXs, they have to learn about these DEXs first, and then the DEXs have to provide them with some sort of API or some sort of easy source to track the current price. And then the tools have to actually integrate that into their websites. Like DeFi Llama is, I think, the first one that really integrated the DEX status, for example. But also, Cardano has a huge volume in NFT trading. And I think it's the third largest chain right after Ethereum and Solana at the moment. And yet none of the sites that are tracking NFT volumes are actually tracking Cardano. And that's really unfortunate. But I don't think they're doing it because of maximalism. I think they're just doing it because, they just don't know where to take the data from.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my questions. I do have some other questions, but I'll let other people speak up. I'll just wait till the end. And thank you so much. And thanks, MuesliSwap, for hosting this AMA.
Am I muted now? I'm not sure. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you all of you guys for joining in and listening and asking all these really good questions. And thank you, Patrick, for being a proper trooper. There's a couple of more questions in the pipeline, so I'm sure you have it in you to push through. All right, next up is Toby. Toby is next up. Yeah, we hear you, Toby.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for hosting this space. I got a quick question for Patrick. Is the whenever you're doing NFTs, are there any benefits to not locking a token policy?
Yeah, definitely. Toby, that's another really good one. I think a lot of projects are very much focused on what Alessandro defined with the space buds in the very first NFT project, and they're just following it. But the reality is, you don't have to lock your tokens. You can keep the policy open, and you can have NFTs which evolve or which are part of a game or something like that, and they might have rarity traits which can evolve by you playing a game and then it will change automatically or stuff like that, basically. So I don't think that the policy needs to be open. It's just, if you are building an art project, of course, the buyer wants to know that, you don't just rug everyone and change the metadata later on and then, the image is gone or something like that. So that's it's like an insurance, I would say, for the buyer.
Okay, thanks. And I got one more question, if you don't mind. On the fiat gateway that you're talking about implementing, how is that going to work with users do they have to have wallets already set up, or if they don't have a wallet, then they can't use the fiat? I was just curious of how that process might work.
Yes, so they don't have to have a wallet. The way it works is that we generate a paper wallet for the users that are using the fiat payment gateway. So basically, they click on pay with credit card, and then they have to download a paper wallet, which is just a PDF with with a seed phrase on it, and that paper wallet is generated 100% on the client side, so on the user side. We on our servers never store any of these passphrases. We don't even have access to them, so it's 100% secure. And then they will get their NFT directly to that paper wallet and will be able to just access it whenever they want.
That's all I had. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the questions.
Thank you, Toby. And of course, as usual, thank you, Patrick. Next up, we have, oh God, this is not the right moment for my phone to be freezing, Eli. Next up, we have Eli.
Welcome, Eli.
Welcome, Eli. You're on mute.
Eli, hello.
Yes, hello. Yeah, we had you for a moment. Yeah, we hear you.
Sorry about that. Just having some technical difficulties. Yeah, I'm just curious as far as the maker token, the NMKR token. Will it be added to any kind of farming? Like, will the token supply be added to any kind of farming, similar to what SundaySwap and MuesliSwap has? Just curious about that. I know that SundaySwap had just recently added theirs, but I was curious if MuesliSwap is going to do anything similar, or if you have any future happenings in the pipeline. Just curious about that.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yes, so we actually started. First of all, the token is called NMKR. That's kind of the way, but NMKR is also fine. But I think NMKR sounds more smoothly. But the idea is that we are, of course, doing yield farming, and we actually started our pool on SundaySwap today. So if you stake your tokens right now on SundaySwap and provide liquidity there, you are getting NMKR tokens as reward. And we actually have a pretty high reward, to be honest. So we put out 50 million tokens for liquidity farming and yield farming. And of course, we also want to do this on all the other dexes. So we are writing a proposal for MuesliSwap to add NMKR yield farming there as well. And we would also love to do this on MuesliSwap, of course, but I think MuesliSwap doesn't support yield farming yet. I think Muesli was actually the first ones that I asked, but I don't know. Maybe you have more info about that.
I do have more info about that than you, I guess. That's a really good question, Eli. Thank you. And also, I don't think we actually spoke specifically, Patrick. As you guys probably know, we do have the automated market maker very soon in the pipeline. as I did mention at the very beginning of this call, we are aiming for the end of this week to have something pretty cool on testnet. So I'm just teasing in one more time. And Patrick, when the day does roll around and we have the liquidity pools and yield farming, I would be more than happy to have one for NFT Maker. Of course, we tend to have like the community deciding these things, but like your project is really big. So if you guys are down to have a yield farm and some liquidity pools on our automated market maker, that's a sure thing.
Yeah, wonderful. That's great news.
Yeah, June will be a pretty strong month for MuesliSwap. So we're trying to finalize the automated market maker, the yield farming, and the liquidity pools, as well as finalizing the wrap tokens. And on top of that, redesigning the entire website. So we do aim to have all of these things roughly in June by the time the hard fork rolls around. So, but prior to that, so according to our roadmap, we launch first the automated market maker and then get on the redesign. So the automated market maker will come before the whole website has been done.
That's great. That's really great. Sorry, go ahead, Eli.
Sorry about that. Don't mean to interrupt. Yeah, I was just going to say, thank you for answering that question. I just have one other quick question. As far as like limitations for people that are living in the U.S., I personally live in the U.S. Is it legal reasons as far as to why like you can't do certain things with certain centralized exchanges? You know, as far as like selling people the NMKR token. Is it legal reasons or is there some other reason for that? Would you be able to elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's always legal reasons. It's always legal reasons. That's the thing. You know, the US is the biggest market for us, of course. And Europe is probably rank 2. So we would be stupid if we were to exclude the US just because we want to. It's always just, you can't do anything there without going through a lot of hassle, and the SEC is very scary for many of us. So most projects actually do their ICOs in Europe and Asia only, and exclude the US and China in particular.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Politics are wonderful. All right, that's all my questions. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eli. All right, 3 more requests, Patrick. You got this. You got this in you. Next up is Bompool.
Which pool? Bone pool. Ah, nice. Nice to have you, Bone pool.
Yeah, Bompool, you're with us. Oh, that was quick. Nice. Welcome, Bompool.
Skipped over the Stephen Wolfram thing for a second, man. Are you in the DMs with that guy? Because that's pretty heavy there. And if he's figuring out or helping figure out how to go across multiple data sets and keep everything, from being counterfeit or faked or whatever, then that problem's probably solved. But just wanted to shout out the Stephen Wolfram thing. Cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. It was probably the craziest thing. I never get nervous before calls or anything, but before that call, I was freaking nervous. And I'm not in DMs with him, but I'm in DMs with his assistant. So
Close enough.
I only spoke with him once. But actually, one of the CEO of Wolfram Blockchain Labs, John Woodward is his name. He's a wonderful guy and he's super bright. And he's one of the advisors for the NMKR token. So just teasing.
Nice. Bumble, does that answer your question?
Sorry, yeah, I was just wanting to shout out the involvement on that side of things.
It's pretty cool. No, it's like when you actually just think about for a moment that Patrick is 24, this is pretty insane what he has managed already to achieve. Respect. Good.
Thank you.
That just leaves Jonah and Ghost Chain one more time. I'm not sure. Ghost Chain, maybe just react, just so I see if your request is like for real or an accident. Jonah, you should be with us.
Jonah.
Hey, thanks so much, Patrick, for taking these AMAs and for everything you've really done for Cardano. I don't think you should underestimate the amount of adoption you've generated with your products. Really from day one, it was just, you made it so easy for artists to mint on the platform, and you continue to innovate, which is just fantastic to see. MuesliSwap, thank you for holding these spaces. I just had a quick question for Patrick. You made sort of like a slightly cryptic post about using your MasterCard to receive USDC on Polygon and then got a Cardano NFT. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, how that process went?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Jonah, for saying all these nice words. I think you're doing great work also with the Emergo Academy. I remember one of the very first interviews that I ever done was with the Emergo Academy at some point. And yeah, so the whole way this fiat payment system works is basically that you pay with your credit card, and then they, like on our partners at Weird, they are converting your dollars or your euros to USDC. And unfortunately, they don't support Cardano yet. So I'm trying to get them to support Cardano. But for now, the workaround is basically that if you're an artist that wants to accept fiat payment for his NFTs, you have to actually set a Polygon address in NFT Maker Pro, and then you will be paid in USDC in the stablecoin on Polygon, so you will receive it there. But the actual NFT will be minted by us, by our reserves, basically, on Cardano, of course, and then sent to the paper wallet, which we generate in the front end for the users. Hope that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. That was a great explanation. And I was, yes, years ago when you came on and had the AMA at Emergo, I was actually just a student at that time, a learner in their program. And it was great to hear you talk back then and to see where you've come since those times.
Cool. Thank you, Jonah. I want to say I also appreciate you. You also asked some questions to Sean last week, and I remember you. And that's really cool that you keep joining us and ask some really decent questions. So thank you. Good. Big Joe. Big Joe is now speaker.
The man himself.
The man himself.
Yo, Patrick, the Cardano community is done messing around. We want to know who the celebrity is. You've been teasing us for far too long.
Right?
Also, if it's J-Lo, Patrick, I do not want you flirting with my girl. I'm letting you know right now. If you flirt with my girl and it's J-Lo and I see you at CNFT Con, I am not smoking with you. I am not going to smoke with you.
You must be a little bit older than me because J-Lo is not really my age group anymore. So you can have her.
Whoa!
Thank you.
Take back what you said.
Thank you, Patrick.
Patrick.
She could have been your sugar mama.
You're not that young.
But man, you're not helping your chances there. But it's all good. Who is in your age group, Patrick? Who's your celebrity crush? That's what the people really want to know.
Oh my God!
You better not say David Hasselhoff, Patrick. I swear, because Knight Rider's cool and everything. I love Michael Knight too. I love Baywatch, but it cannot be David Hasselhoff. He's also way much older.
That is true, but what do you have against David Hasselhoff? He's amazing. I grew up with Harry Potter.
That's the one thing John is most proud of, David Hasselhoff. It's like the one thing you cannot touch.
Yeah, I have more celebrity crushes than I can count, to be honest. So I don't know who to choose, Victor. But I can't tell you much more about the celebrity. I think it's very interesting, and he's very unexpected. No one is gonna guess it. Or actually, wait, no, one person actually guessed it when I posted about it. One person in the comments guessed the correct celebrity, and I was so flabbergasted, and I didn't really expect it at all. And I just sent it to Josh from IOHK, and he was like, "Oh my God, did we leak something or so?" So yeah.
Okay, Patrick, I am going to your timeline right now, going to all your tweets and going to all the comments and see if I could get a clue. Thank you for the clue.
Yeah,
I'm literally doing that as you guys are talking. I'm going through Patrick's timeline trying to figure it out.
But I tweet too much, so you will have to scroll for a long time.
We have time. We have time. And we are determined, aren't we, Big Joe? We want to know now.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to figure it out. Watch. And by the way, Patrick, quick question. I know you had you were thinking about doing a Twitter space to reveal said celebrity with Uncle Charlie on Friday. Has that been canceled completely or just postponed?
That has been postponed. I actually have a meeting with the management team there later today at in a few hours, and we'll try to figure out when this call or this Twitter space will happen. Yeah, I don't know much more than that, to be honest. It's also quite difficult to get Charles in a Twitter space because consensus is happening, so we have to find some date, but I'm sure we can do that.
Awesome, completely understand. Well, whenever it is, the community has your back, and we'll all be here, ready to see what's going on and what's in store for the future. So, thank you, Patrick, for all the work you put in. All jokes to the side, I really appreciate having a young stud like yourself, a young genius, on the front lines of Cardano, and it makes my old ass, it makes my job easier knowing that you're doing your thing. So, thank you.
Thank you for all of that. That's amazing. And I'm looking forward to the day when we can smoke together.
Nice. All right. Last one. Ghost Chain, we have you back with us. Or we don't. I can never really tell when I give people speaker rights.
Yeah, I think you have to give them speaker rights a little bit earlier and then announce them or something like that. Hey, Ghost Chain.
That's a good one. I'll do that from next Twitter space. Ghost Chain, we have you with us. What's up?
Yeah, just two quick questions. The first one is going back to the question, another person asked about, the US, regulations when it comes to interacting with the NMKR token. That is just for the initial sale, right? But like yield farming and, other things, US residents or citizens can participate, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's the official answer and then there's the unofficial answer. And the official answer is probably US citizens in general can do basically nothing. No one is allowed to sell them any tokens, even through DEXs. But the unofficial answer is, of course, DEXs are decentralized. You can't really tell who's buying the tokens. There's no KYC or anything involved. And the same goes for liquidity farming. So, what are we going to do? What is the SEC going to do about it? Nothing. So, yeah, take that with a grain of salt.
Right. Got it. Cool. My second question is the fiat integration. You said there'll be like a paper wallet created for the buyer. Once they make that purchase, will they be able to send that NFT to maybe more for a custodial wallet, like the NAMI or Daedalus or whatever, once that transaction has been done?
Yeah, so at the moment, we only have the paper wallet. So the paper wallet is non-custodial, but we only have that. And after that, they are, of course, able to send their token to whatever wallet they want. In the future, what we will have in addition to that is basically an option to set, if you already have a wallet and you just want to pay with fiat because it's more convenient, which is, for example, something I would do because I tried it today and it was so fast, it was so much more easy, and I don't want to spend my ADA, so I'm just gonna pay with fiat. Then you can enter the wallet address there, and then it gets sent to that wallet address. And the third option actually is, which is the best option in my opinion, is the wallet that we will be developing ourselves. So in our white paper, we have very detailed plans about a wallet. And the idea is really, we don't want to compete with any of these, real wallets. We don't want to be a Chrome extension. We don't want to compete with Giro wallet. We don't want to compete with Nami wallet. That's not our business. But we do see the need for an onboarding wallet, basically. Because at the moment in the space, there's no wallet that you can easily use without having to download a Chrome extension and stuff like that. And that is not user-friendly. I mean, we are used to that because we're all nerds, but that's really not user-friendly. So the idea for us is basically when you want to buy your first NFT and you pay with fiat, you pay with credit card, after that, you say, okay, I want to register with the NFT maker account, the marketplace account, basically. We will have like a global accounting system. And then you get an account there, and then you will receive a wallet which is non-custodial, but also bound to your account. And there are some technical difficulties there. So we can go into more detail if you're interested. But this solution actually exists in the Tezos space. In Tezos, there is a wallet where you can simply register with Google, with your Google account or Facebook account or whatever, and then it derives the private key for this wallet within your Google account. So basically, through these social logins, they derive a private key, and then you have a non-custodial wallet. But the user experience is also extremely friendly, and that is what we want to build, an onboarding wallet basically. And after that, once the people are actually in the space, they should be able to download Giro Wallet or Nami or whatever, and then the user flow is already done. But it's about bringing people into the space and into wallets basically.
Got it. Yeah, and just one final question: Will the royalties and everything still be honored? Like whenever someone makes a purchase with fiat.
Yeah, of course. But at the moment, we don't have the secondary market in the payment gateway. So for the moment, it's only about minting, and there are no royalties in minting. But when we have smart contracts, of course, the royalties will always be honored.
Got it. Cool. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Ghost Chain. Patrick, that will be all. You managed. Congratulations. That was a lot, but you're a trooper. Appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to Rare Bloom because they are currently listening to the space, and I just wanted to give them a shout out because they're doing something really cool. They're doing a Cardano focused event sometime this year. I'm not exactly sure. That's very, very cool. What they're trying to do is just like debunk the myth of the ghost chain when you have this full room full of Cardano projects, and check them out in case you haven't. I'm not sure if MuesliSwap will participate. It's a bit harder for us based in Europe, but we'll try our best. So shout out to Rare Bloom. Patrick, what can I say? Thank you so much for your time. You were amazing. Everything that you said today, so many mind-blowing things and so many nice teasers. Will we be seeing you at Consensus?
Yes, I will be there. Looking forward to meeting you in person. And thank you so much again for inviting me. It was really a pleasure speaking with you. And I'm super excited for the future of MuesliSwap. I also have to have a few good words about your project, because I think MuesliSwap came into the space completely out of the blue. No one expected it, and at the beginning people thought it was some sort of scam, or it was not a real DEX and so on. Everyone expected MinSwap and SundaySwap, but suddenly MuesliSwap appeared and they had a working DEX, and then after time it was clear, okay, this is a great DEX, it's a great team, and they are really delivering instead of just talking. So I'm extremely happy that you're building in this space, and thank you for everything you do.
Appreciate the nice words. It's just how the Cardano community is. Everybody has this level of skepticism, which is very natural, very understandable. It keeps them safe. It keeps their funds safe. So at the very beginning, when the team hasn't doxed itself, it was understandable, this reaction, but the team did everything they could over time. And it's very clear that the work that the developers are putting in is of top quality, and also with community first in mind. It is a very small team, which is also why certain features are taking slightly longer. But I think we have shown to people that our intent is really purely good, and people are recognizing this. They're recognizing the work. So honestly, sky's the limit. We have the upcoming automated market maker. I teased it a few times today, and hopefully we'll have something up on the testnet by the end of the week. So stay tuned. Check out MuesliSwap. Check out our launches and our announcements. And Patrick, I won't be at Consensus, but the team will. Most of the developers will be there, but I'm sure you'll manage to make some pretty cool plans with them. That's it, guys. Thank you. This was Project Spotlight number 3. Patrick, what can I say? Appreciate you and the NFT Maker team. We're going to be in touch. And thank you, everybody, for the really cool questions today. And have a great day. Patrick, I'll leave it to you to close it off.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and asking so many questions. And have a great day from my side as well. Talk to you soon and hope we get to meet at consensus.
Yeah, and you have a great time with JLo, and do let us know how it was. All right.
Of course.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.